Hello and welcome to Radical Catholic. I'm your host, Shoeless Joe, and today we are talking about Lent before and after Vatican II. Okay, so before we even get started, I have to make it clear that the Second Vatican Council didn't actually change anything about the regulations of Lent. The modern Lenten revision comes from Pope St. Paul VI, 1966 Apostolic Constitution Penitentiae. Penitentiae. I don't speak Latin. It's known in English as On Fasting and Abstinence, and it came out around the time of Vatican II and from the same Pope, which is why a lot of people assume it came from Vatican II. When really it came from that illustrious spirit of Vatican II, which we all know so well. Now, if you haven't read this document, which face it, you probably haven't, Pope Paul VI starts off by talking about how great penitence is and how important it is to fast and abstain. He says that the Church reaffirms the primacy of the religious and supernatural values of penitence. And he says that these values are extremely suitable for restoring to the world today a sense of the presence of God and of His sovereignty over man, and a sense of Christ and His salvation. And then he goes on to invite everyone to accompany the inner conversion of the Spirit with the voluntary exercise of external acts of penitence. So basically what St. Paul VI is saying here is that it's super important, it's vital for us to fast and abstain. We need that outward sign to make the inner reality of Christ true in our hearts. And then after saying how important penitence is, he says that while we've always done the same thing for everyone, the same rules about fasting and abstaining no matter where you were, times have changed and now maybe we need to look at different areas and different things people should be doing in different places. He says that in poor countries, maybe they don't need to do specific fasting since they already have to fast enough as it is. And that perhaps they should just offer up what they already do, what they already have to sacrifice up to God. But that in more well-off countries, like the US of A, asceticism is even more important. It's even more important for us to sacrifice and to really give up because we have so much. So he said different places can do different things, and then he left it up for the bishops to decide. Which is why we have the current fiasco in the United States, but that's a different video. Now, so far all of this makes sense to me. I think it makes sense that if you're a poor country, you shouldn't have to fast by these certain rules if you're already going without food anyways. And that if you're living like a hobbit eating 6 meals a day, it's most important for you to sacrifice. It's most important that we, the rich, sacrifice so that we do not become obsessed with the spirit of the world and with getting. Then Pope Paul VI says, even though different people will be doing different things after this, we still want to make some rules that everyone follows. So these rules are that everyone has to do penance, everyone over the age of 14 should abstain from meat on Ash Wednesday and all the Fridays during Lent, and everyone between the ages of 21 and 60 should fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday.
Just as a side note, when the church says fast, in general it means you eat one main meal, generally around lunchtime, early afternoon. And if you need to, you can have one small meal for breakfast and one small meal for dinner. But if you put those 2 small meals together, they shouldn't be bigger than the one main meal you have.
Now these changes may seem normal to us. People my age or younger don't really know any different. But when this came out in 1966, this was huge. 2 of the big differences is that before 1966, you had to start abstaining from meat at age 7, not age 14. And you had to fast every single day during Lent except on Sundays. And now you only have to fast twice. So we went down from 40 days of fasting to 2 days of fasting. Now I get it, I get the point of this. There are people in countries who barely have enough to eat. They shouldn't have to fast every single day during Lent. Which is why Pope St. Paul VI was leaving it up to the bishops. The local bishops in each country, in each area, should decide for themselves what their people need. So, US bishops, what are you doing? I don't get it. I don't understand why the US bishops didn't change anything at all from this. Let me just backtrack a little into this document and reiterate what Pope Paul VI was saying. He said, and I quote, "Therefore, where economic well-being is greater, so much more will the witness of asceticism have to be given, in order that the sons of the church may not be involved in the spirit of the world." So United States bishops, I don't know if you think that the United States is not a country where well-being is greater, but I mean, I think it is, don't you? I feel like we've kind of been left high and dry on this one. I mean, seriously, we have more than almost anyone else in the world and we only have to fast twice a year? Now, I'm not one for rules and regulations and people telling other people this is what you have to do. But the whole point of the church is to bring us to God and to show us how to grow in holiness. The whole point, the whole reason that we used to fast every day during Lent was to die to ourselves. It was the church showing us how to do this. And now I just feel like the U.S. bishops are just letting us be lazy. Here's a part of the document that I think the USCCB should really take to heart. In section 9, paragraph 1 of this document, Pope Paul VI says, "It is strongly desired that bishops and all pastors of souls promote with zeal, particularly during the Lenten season, extraordinary practices of penitence, aimed at expiation and impetration." Did you catch that, bishops? Promote with zeal extraordinary practices. Do you see that happening anywhere? Because I don't. This is what frustrates me so much about the church today, is that we lack this zeal. We lack anything extraordinary, it seems. As members of the Catholic Church today, we should be living radically. People should be looking at us and be like, man, those Catholics, what are they thinking? They live with barely any possessions, they're always giving to the poor and helping people in need, and then they sacrifice like crazy and fast during Lent. But instead they think, oh, those crazy Catholics, they hate gay people, they hate women who want abortions, they won't even use condoms. And I get that they might always see Catholics this way, but at least wouldn't it be nice if they said, man, but they sure do know how to take care of the poor and sacrifice. Pope Benedict XVI said, "In our own day, fasting seems to have lost something of its spiritual meaning." He says that the faithful practice of fasting contributes to conferring unity to the whole person, body and soul, helping to avoid sin and grow in intimacy with the Lord. Denying material food, which nourishes our body, nurtures an interior disposition to listen to Christ and be fed by His saving word. Through fasting and praying, we allow Him to come and satisfy the deepest hunger of our being, the hunger and thirst for God. So we can see clearly how important it is to fast. It's such a real and tangible way that we can die to ourselves, deny ourselves, and pick up that cross. So wherever you may be, if your local bishops only make you fast twice a year, I strongly encourage fasting every day during Lent and more throughout your year. We need to have a zeal for extraordinary practices. We really truly need to deny ourselves. So in closing, I leave you with these words from Pope Benedict XVI. May every family and Christian community use well this time of Lent in order to cast aside all that distracts the spirit and grow in whatever nourishes the soul, moving it to love of God and neighbor. With this interior disposition, let us enter the penitential spirit of Lent. Thank you so much for watching. Many blessings to you and yours. And remember, if you're not praying, you're straying. Expiation and impetration. Impetration sounds terrible. We do not give in to the spirit of the world so that we not become so burdened. I see you. Oh, hey yo, Esther. Yes, my love. Okay, good idea.